Hey, namaste everyone. Ram here, DNA Hacker, Dr. Ramos, for part 2 of coronavirus prevention. If you did not watch part 1, boy, you're missing out. Nobody, absolutely nobody on this planet is teaching what you're gonna learn right now in this series of videos. A multi-part video series. Go back, watch part 1. And I'm not making money. I'm not telling you to watch it because I make money. I'm not monetizing this channel. I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this to serve, to help others who are suffering or are worried and living in fear of something that they should not be concerned about at all. So in part 1, I taught what constitutes 80 to 90% of your immune system. It is a part that you're not aware of, that is the heart and soul of your immune system. How do you take care of it so that you have the frontline defense? So that if I do get inoculated, my body is ready to extinguish anything that gets in there. And at worst, if that is optimized, at worst, you feel like you're gonna get sick, but you actually never get sick. Or you get sick, but you get sick for much less with symptoms that are a lot more moderated. So you wanna watch part 1 so that you learn how to take care of what really is 80 to 90% of your immune system and is under your control to take care of. Part 2 today on coronavirus prevention will be 2 parts. Initially, I'm going to talk about the pathology of the virus. And I want you to tune in to next video where I will teach you how to use the power of the breath. On social media, somebody contacted me and asked me, you teach about breathing and being powerful. I've been practicing that for many years. I've been following you for a couple of years now. And but I'm worried. I go out in public and I find myself breathing shallow and thinking that my breath is a problem and that I shouldn't be breathing like I normally do. And I'm going to talk about the breath and its power to boost the immune system, to calm the mind, reduce stress, etc. And so part 1 is going to be talking about the pathology, so you really understand how the virus works. Once you understand how the virus works, you don't do some of the things that I'm seeing some people do. That is completely unnecessary. And then we will go into immune boosting supplements. In my opinion, this is not the heart and soul, but this is a supplement. It's something that you do to further enhance. I will talk about some of the supplements, some of which I'm sure you have not ever heard of. And I'll be talking about some supplements that I take daily that I highly recommend that you take. So let's begin. So the important thing is to really understand the virus. So the virus is not something that's here. I see people driving in their cars with masks on. There's absolutely no virus around. The virus is going to be transmitted like a cold is transmitted, where it's caused by a virus. A virus is basically a protein capsule with either DNA or RNA, what you have in your cells. DNA, what contains genes. So it's basically genetic material inside a protein capsule. And it has certain proteins on its surface that cause it to bind to specific cells. Typically, viruses bind to cells lining my nasal digestive passages, like my throat or my trachea, or may penetrate a little deeper in the case of this virus. But viruses, what they're designed to do is to transfer genetic material. So if there is a little droplet, this little blue circle here, let's say saliva, somebody sneezes, and now there's a table, a surface, I touch it or I go somewhere and I touch something that somebody sneezed on. The virus will last a certain amount of time on the surface. So they sneeze and I touch the surface and then I touch my mouth. Now I've introduced the virus into me. One of the things that I recommend, I was just talking to some neighbors about this, is first thing I would do is if I go out, I would come home and wash my hands. Not sanitize. I watched my previous video, why not? Hand sanitizers are not effective. Wash your hands, water, friction is just as good. If you want to add a little soap, that's fine. But that's gonna flush stuff away. Drink water, nice amount of water with some lemon. And you can use a neti pot, N-E-T-I pot. You can get on Amazon, for example. Put a teaspoon of salt, sea salt or kosher salt without iodine. Nothing added, just salt. A teaspoon of finely ground salt, or a little bit less, depending on how much you tolerate. Fill it up with water, put it in one nostril. If you get my book, The Art of Stress-Free Living, I talk about the neti pot and how to use it. So I'm coming back, and then I would suggest you cleanse yourself that way. And of course, watch part 1 so you learn how to optimize that frontline defense. Hey everyone, I'm back. Okay, so now I'm in a little bit of shaded area. It's a little more comfortable. The sun just decided to come out. All right. So if I am in proximity of somebody and somebody sneezes, then they're spraying, they're creating an aerosol where there's gonna be saliva droplets or mucus or a mix sprayed in the air in my vicinity. And if it lands on me, you may not even notice it because it may be very fine, but that one little droplet may contain millions of viruses. And so now I either inhaled it, or it fell on me, or I touched the surface, and now it gets into my body. And so my entire digestive tract and my nasal passages are lined by cells. So just imagine that this is your throat, your esophagus, let's say, and the virus just got in. So the virus now is designed to adhere to a specific type of cell that's lining that passage. And it gets in. And if we zoom into a cell that just got infected, the protein part of the virus does not get in. What gets in instead, it's its genetic material. In this case, the virus is an RNA virus. RNA is what's made from DNA. It's like a copy of the DNA. In the case of a virus, the DNA can be single or double-stranded. If it's double-stranded, those two copies can separate, and the cell itself can use these strands to now make DNA from it. And those two DNA strands bind and can even be inserted into the DNA of the host cell. This is, for example, with AIDS virus, or the one that causes cold sores, human papillomavirus. These viruses integrate their genetic material into your genetic material, so you can't ever get rid of them. The coronavirus isn't like that, at least so far as we know. And but what the virus does is it uses the cell, the genetic material is used to make more copies of the virus. So this genetic material has all the information, all the genes, to make all the parts to assemble a virus. So that now the genetic material, the virus went in, it's right there, the viral DNA, will now use the cell's machinery to make viral proteins. And so what happens? The viral proteins are made, the virus is reassembled, and the cell lyses. Your cells lining the outside of your body are dying all the time. There's turnover. But this is bad, because if the turnover is cells lysing quicker than they normally would, because the virus is causing them to lyse, and now they're releasing more virus, which infects more cells and allows the virus to penetrate deeper into the nasal passage. So step 1, aerosol contact. Step 2, it gets into your cell. Step 3, it will use your machinery to make viral proteins. The virus replicates, the cell lyses, releasing more virus. The virus infects, spreading tissues further. And so here's what happens. If I'm not optimized, if my health is not good, if I'm a smoker, let's say, what does smoking do? Why is smoking a problem? Because smoking paralyzes the cilia. There's an airplane's going by. Paralyzes the cilia that are sweeping the mucus out of your trachea and into your esophagus and down to your stomach. So if I don't sweep stuff out, as I generate more lysis, more debris, you can say, more debris that's mixing with your own secretions, mucus, that should be swept out, it starts to accumulate and congest, and now the person can't really breathe. This is where the complications start. So to more effectively sweep out the virus, you need to keep, if you're a smoker, stop smoking, please. Stop smoking right now. If you would do yourself the biggest favor for other reasons that go beyond coronavirus, but you're gonna make your ability to sweep out the mucus more effective. It may take time though, so you're gonna be vulnerable for a while. 2, drink lots of fluids, because you're going to be generating a lot of fluids to be able to produce the mucus. By taking in more fluids, your mucus secretions are going to be more fluid, more able, and you're going to generate more able to be swept out and moved. What will happen often is that if you don't drink enough water, you're consuming it to try to fight it off, to get it out of your system, that you're going to get constipated because you're eliminating a lot of water. So you want to really drink a lot of water, hot teas with lemon, just plain water, fresh juices. I've done some videos on that in my the Hackers channel on fresh juices that you can make. Some of them are huge immune boosting juices. Check them out. Like my rainbow juice, I did a beet juice. That was very powerful. So you want to really change the way you eat. Look at part 1 as to why, how you can actually feed the frontline defense, 80-90% of your immune system, and hydrate better. And if you have the symptoms, you certainly should be hydrating. Counteracting the fever is not something difficult. Taking cold showers. Wim Hof, the Iceman, has been a king of a supporter of the breathing. I posted a short breathing exercise that boosts the immune system. I'll be illustrating that in the following video with some explanations. I've modified his breathing technique and explained it in a different way that really goes and teaches you why this technique really works and why breath retention for a long period can actually boost your immune system. So you want to watch that part 3. And this is actually a breathing technique that has been shown to help you fight off a virus, and I'll explain the study that was done to show this. So that's how the virus works. So you really want to make sure that you have your body optimized so that you're not doing things that are unnecessary. You can go out, but just stay away from people at a distance right now. Unfortunately, we're already very socially distant. We interact mostly through this type of media, and now we're distancing ourselves even more. But if you're really not equipped for this virus, you really want to stay away. Okay. Oh, and it reminds me, somebody posted on Instagram of this person, this 40-year-old man here in Miami-Dade, where I'm at, that died of coronavirus. And so people are saying, oh, even healthy people are dying. But you have to be very careful, because there's a lot of people out there that are health coaches, fitness coaches. They may look good on the outside, but they're spoiled on the inside. They have no clue what it is to be healthy. They don't know, they don't teach holistic health. That is what I teach at Ramos, Rooted Tree, the Hacker Secrets, the mastermind that you absolutely want to join. I will be giving away this mastermind. I will be releasing soon. When it does, I'll announce it. In this mastermind, I teach the art of living stress and disease-free. It is the reason, again, why I've been saying all along that disease is not anything that even exists in my consciousness. It's not a concern of mine. I'm not living in fear of coronavirus. Maybe annoyed by it because I'm limited. I can't do those things that we normally do. There's a lot of things that are not going on. But this may actually be the best thing for the planet, because it's caused the whole planet to shut down, power down, and stop emitting so much pollution. We need to come together as a planet, and coronavirus may be the first thing that triggers some sort of change. All right, so let's get to the core of part 2, which is these supplements. So you want to take a piece of paper and write these down, and if you don't know where to get them, private message me and I'll show you how. All right, the first one is Amrit Collage. Most of you have never heard this. Amrit, it means immortality. Collage is like a chalice, a bowl, a receptacle of immortality. This is very ancient. This is from a time when humans were much more advanced, much more holistic and connected to nature, and really knew what holistic health was. They created live, natural, holistic medicines that were symptom free. They did not generate associated side effects or symptoms. So Amrit Collage is a mixture of herbs, healing herbs. It's a healing tonic that is raw and immune boosting, along with Chyawanprash. This one It's expensive. It would cost you about $100 a month. But if you get it on eBay and get it from India, you're a patient, you get it. You may want to get one that you get quicker on Amazon, let's say. And then you order extra and you get it from eBay. So I have an order coming. I have some here at home and I have an order coming. It comes in a tablet and in a nectar that you spoon and you eat. It is not vegan. These are not. I'm vegan, but these are the exceptions with because it has ghee, which is a special clarified butter that allows organic, that is allows for what's the healing stuff here to be more readily absorbed. A lot of times people take stuff, but it's not really in the right substrate to be absorbed. And I'll get to that with vitamin C, for example. It's a good example of this. Or curcumin, which is down here, turmeric, which often people take, and most of what they take, they're not absorbing. It requires a fat-soluble substrate to be absorbed. So whenever you can, you want to take it with something that is fat-soluble. I would love to create a line of this that is vegan, maybe with coconut oil or medium-chain triglyceride oil, MCTs, that are found in coconut oil, which are beneficial for health, or some sort of other oil so that you don't have to do butter. But for now, because the benefits outweigh the drawback, which is very minimal, then I don't mind this. Oh, I should mention another thing with the respiratory, with the pathology: avoid dairy at all costs. Dairy will cause your mucus to become like cheese, stringy, less able to be swept out. So when something gets in, it's not able to be pushed out. So avoid dairy as much as you can. And I talked about this also in the previous video because it also damages the frontline defense. All right, so this is 1,000 times more effective than vitamin C or vitamin E, the common things that you take, that people take antioxidants for immune boosting effects. The reason why a lot of these antioxidants help is more because it's counteracting a lot of things that you do wrong to your body. A lot of the excess oxidation, what's known as free radicals, these chemicals that are charged, that are generated by the foods that you eat, particularly if they're cooked and damaged, and then you put them in your mouth and they go into your body. If you're putting foods that are very toxic, they're generating a lot of chemicals that damage your body. By having your body inundated with these beneficial chemicals, most mainly really plant-based, these phytochemicals, you're actually healing your body. It's anti-inflammatory, it's antioxidants, antibacterial, the bad bacteria, antiviral, the bad viruses. So by eating the right way, fresh juices, etc., things that are powerful and healthy, you actually transform your health from within. And so this is really not about that it's boosting something immune as much as it allows more a greater energy reservoir that you have to be allocated to having your immune system be at a peak and not be your body constantly fighting a lot of the crap that we often do to it. All right, so this allows sometimes more effective. It's been highly studied. Look at the literature, you can see all the studies on Adaptogenic Collage. I take I take these regularly. Adaptogenic Collage and Chyawanprash. Sometimes what I do is I'll alternate. I take one day, one the other. If you want to save some money, this is a lot cheaper. This is about $15 a jar. I get it from the Himalayan Institute. You can get it on Amazon, but I get it from the Himalayan Institute to support their charitable causes. This is very high in vitamin C and also healing herbs similar to Adaptogenic Collage. It's really a cocktail that has been perfected over millennia. I would make this a part of my diet forever, and I teach that in the Art of Stress-Free Living. For those who have the copy of the book or have joined my events, you'll have heard of these two. Then we get to vitamin C. The problem with vitamin C is that the vitamin C that people are taking is not highly absorbed. You want to get liposomal vitamin C. If you go to Amazon or Google liposomal vitamin C, you're going to find a lot of different options. Find the one that has maybe the best ratings and take this. If you want to know how much to take, then hit me with a private message just to do, or a comment if it's on YouTube, just to see who's on top of things. I will tell you how much you should be taking daily of this. Very effective. Most people take vitamin E, but they take a version of vitamin E again that is not really that effective. It's tocopherol. Alpha tocopherol is the vitamin that people take. What you want is actually tocotrienol. There is a vegan version of this that is in like droplets, but you can get one that is in capsules but has gelatin, mind you, which is connective tissue from bovine or pig sources or swine sources, and those would not be vegan if that's important to you. But there is one that you can get that is, and if you want to know exactly the one, then you need to private message me or comment, and I'll show you which one to take. Again, it's not that you're going to be taking all these daily. I try to alternate them. I'll take a certain handful of them one day and handful the other day to mix and match. I don't like to take stuff all the time readily. I try to alternate it. And I can teach you that type of regime in the mastermind if you join. Go to beanghackersecrets.com and you join the mastermind. It's going to be launching very soon. If it's currently on a subscription basis, ignore it. That's not the correct one. My guys right now updating the website. It should be done shortly. And it will be a fixed price. It's an 8-week program where we're going to jump in and teach people this course, synthesizing 10 decades into 2 months. 10 decades, 2 decades. I'm not that old. 2 decades into 2 months. All right. So the one that you want is tocotrienol, not tocopherol. And tocotrienols, they come in different kinds, alpha, beta, deltas. You want a combination of them, and that one is a lot more effective for vitamin E. Vitamin E, actually, I also use, and I may talk about this in my skin health video that I did last year. Excellent video if you want to learn how to keep your skin, hair healthy, and you look younger for longer. And vitamin E is also great to apply to the skin and the scalp and the hair. And there's oils that you can get of this. All right. So then we get to the adaptogens, and I talk about this extensively in the in our stress-free living, in a section where I talk about body stress. Here I name a few adaptogenic herbs. Obviously, these have adaptogenic herbs as well. Again, what are adaptogenic herbs? Are herbs that are designed by man. Herbs are really weeds where man put its consciousness into the weed. How? By genetically modifying. But what we do now, we knew and we learned how to optimize health, and we created plant-based substances that would give us these optimized chemicals. And so adaptogens are designed to keep stress at bay, to increase harmony and balance. So instead of pushing, we push ourselves to the extremes. Adaptogens help to bring us back. So you want to take these regularly, holy basil. You can take that supplement, or as part of your diet. You can get basil leaves, a very powerful leaf, or maca root. Unless you live in South America, Peru, where maca root, you can get it raw, excellent to be juiced. You may have to get it in powder form. Not as effective, but still, it's a compromise. Remember, you have to compromise. If what I teach doesn't fully resonate with you, see what things you can integrate so you can better your health. Ashwagandha, which some people are becoming more popular, extremely important to be taken daily, and this is a very important healing root as well, healing compound. So holy basil, maca root, ashwagandha, you want to be taking these. If you cannot take them raw, then you take them in like a capsule powder form. And this one I take in smoothies. This one I may consume as part of a meal, or there's a little capsules that have a higher active ingredient included in them. Again, if you want to know which one I take personally, you have to private message me to get that. And then we get to Triphala. Triphala is an Ayurvedic herb, similar to some of these earlier ones. These are also included in Ayurveda. This Triphala is excellent for gut health. Go back to part 1. Why is gut health so important? Part 1 is a must video to watch if you want to really empower your body and your health. And of course, it also contains antioxidants like vitamin C. Then we get to THCs. No, this is not marijuana related. It's not tetrahydrocannabinol. It is tetrahydrocurcuminoids. It is a more readily absorbed version of, and much more potent. It's about 250 times more potent than the regular curcumin that most people take nowadays. A lot of people are really taking turmeric, curcumin. This is the more enhanced version. It is better than any other antioxidant. If you combine this with the early ones here, you really don't need much of anything else. If you combine it with the and prebiotics that I mentioned in part 1 that are going to enhance your microbiome and increase natural antibodies, you're going to be setting the stage for a healthier body. Again, at least 50 to 75% of your diet has to be raw, whole, plant-based foods. Meaning that every time that you sit down and have a meal, you make sure that half of that meal is raw, plant-based foods that are loaded with phytochemicals, that you cover the rainbow in colors. The beets and the carrots and the dark greens, etc. And the berries. And as much as you can. You may not be able to afford it, but you do the best that you can with what you have. I may travel and I go somewhere and I may not have what I normally have. I do the best what I can during those circumstances. Adapt. Remember, it's not about taking just things that help you adapt. You mentally must adapt as well. Change. So that is the THCs. You want to know the exact one that I take? Hit me on Instagram at DNA Hacker Secrets. And then there's L-glutathione. This is a very powerful antioxidant that a lot of people are lacking in often. If you supplement it, it is a very, very powerful antioxidant that's also been shown to help clean your genes. I discussed this in the Hacker Secrets, the concept of dirty genes. Ben Lynch, if I'm not mistaken, the author, wrote a book called Dirty Genes, and he goes into details about this. Excellent book, I highly recommend it. And you also want to check out the Hacker Secrets, where I go into details on how you go about doing this, optimizing it. That goes beyond taking, some sort of supplement, but this is important for something called methylation, which is a process where you're modifying your biochemistry and your genetics so that you optimize the function of your cells. So if your cellular function is optimized, then you're going to feel better. You're going to feel more ready to take any challenge. So if something were to land, it's not that you're immune to something, it's that it just really cannot take hold. You're ready to really reclaim it. In part 4, I'll be teaching a meditation technique that enhances your natural killer cells. So when a cell is already infected, there's a very easy meditation technique that not only resets your stress high, it resets you, brings it down, but it will also boost a certain cell, a natural killer cell is called, that identifies infected cells and kills them. Because this cell will express something about the virus, it will present an antigen, it's called, and then the immune system is able to recognize it and say, oh, this cell has something wrong with it, let me kill it. It does it with cancer as well, these cells. So if you have a cancer cell, which most of us have had cancer before, identify the cancer before it actually festers and grows. And it will kill that cell so that it doesn't release more virus, infecting more cells. So if my body's already optimized, then I'm primed and ready to actually eliminate the cells that are already infected. Vegan omega-3 fatty acid supplements. These are anti-inflammatory and have been shown to boost white blood cells, the same cells that can attack the virus. So getting a good supplement of omega-3, I did a video on this previously. Check out my YouTube channel on the vegan omega-3 supplement. There is one that goes to the source of where the fish get it. It has the secret weapon omega-3 that most people are not talking about, and it's the most effective one of all. With omega-3s, I teach this in the Hacker Secrets Mastermind. It's all about optimizing your omega-3 ratios. Omega ratios. It's not just about omega-3s. You require the other omegas that we often ignore. So I teach how to optimize these omega-3s, and in my medium.com page where I've written articles, I have articles on this as well. So check out the channel for a previous video and my medium.com if you're interested. Again, I don't make anything of this. I'm just offering free suggestions to revolutionize your health, truly to revolutionize it. I'm speaking from the deepest part of my heart. I'm speaking the truth. And if you apply what I'm going to be teaching in these part videos, join the mastermind to take it to another level. I'm going to be giving this at a very heavily discounted price that I would normally not do. I'm doing this to help. All right. What else? And then finally, we have vitamin. With the omega-3s, it also boosts your immune system. We talked about the white blood cells and also brain function. It's very important for your brain. And lastly, we have vitamin D, which we normally should produce being out in the sun. But depending on where you are, you may not be exposed to the sun. This is something that you do want to supplement with. I would say probably 99.9% of the population is deficient in vitamin D. You would have to be out in the sun at peak hours, naked, running around to produce the amount of vitamin D that you need. So you want to supplement with vitamin D, vitamin D3. And this helps you increase antimicrobial proteins that are going to help fight off the infection. And so integrate these. I hope you wrote these down. If not, go back, rewind, go back and jot these down so that you start to integrate some of these into your life. If you want to learn how to integrate them into your life, because I take all this, but there's a way I integrate it, and I integrate it into my day-to-day, week-to-week basis so that I'm not taking a gazillion things. You make it more efficient, and you optimize your nutrition and your breathing and the power of your mind, etc., so that now your connection with nature, and so that now you become, as I teach in the Hacker Secrets Mastermind and the book, a stress and disease-free superhuman. You can become a superhuman as well, and I can teach you how. Take care. God bless. Namaste.